I know most of you have seen this self-promotion a couple of times, but this is mainly for the new subscribers who are into music. If you're looking for copyright-free music and remixes, I'd really appreciate it if you went over to my second channel and had a listen. Link will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy this surprisingly deep video. Years before the eruption of the Clone Wars, a number of very shifty events took place on Kamino that eventually led to the commission of the highly controversial Clone Army. For better or for worse, these clones were created and bred to fight in a war that they knew very little about. Many legions fought on dangerous and foreboding worlds and lost many brothers. In saying this, clone troops were subject to authorized military leave and usually mingled with the thousands of other clones also on leave. In this video, we will be looking into what the clones did whilst on leave and why it could have actually been a tactic the Republic used to control clones. The creation of the Clone Army was immoral on many levels, and the Jedi shouldn't have resorted to such measures in the first place. Regardless of the morality of the situation, they were created, and they were basically an army of slaves bred to do one thing, which was to fight and die for the Republic. There were of course a few exceptions that were smart enough to figure it all out, but the majority of the Clone Army were kept in check and were either too apathetic or loyal to try and break the mindset that they were bred into. This leads me to say that a big part of the way the Republic controlled the Clone Army was by giving them a false sense of freedom in the form of authorized military leave. Authorized military leave, or more commonly known as Coruscant military leave, was, as the name suggests, free time on Coruscant. Clone soldiers were able to do whatever they wanted whilst on the planet, however very few clones ever went down into the lower levels of Coruscant, as the clones were looked down upon, as well as it being very dangerous. As a result of this, clones usually stuck together in the upper levels of Coruscant and mingled in various bars. One of the most popular bars that they would go to was called 79's, a relatively small bar that was shown in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Clones here would oftentimes get drunk and engage in promiscuous activities with other races. As many of the clones here were practically untouchable by the law as they were Republic soldiers, they could get aggressive and rowdy and nobody would set them straight. This led to 79's bar to be nicknamed the Clone Bar instead, as many previous customers had stopped coming due to their annoyance toward the clones that had practically taken over the bar. This leads me to believe that all the drinking and other activities that took place while clones were on leave was a form of control overshadowed by an illusion of freedom. For one, clones were only ever allowed to have leave on Coruscant, and could not travel to other planets. Although they weren't forced to drink and party their sorrows away, many of them did, as in Coruscant there was very little else to do. Although these clones did have fun and did have a good time whilst on leave, they chose to live an illusion of free will and choice when there really was none. 99% of clones took advantage of military leave and partied it up until they were either killed or missing in action. The 1% that didn't, however, were quite often the smartest and most selfless clones, who always internally questioned themselves. Rex, Wolf, and Cutler Quain were examples of the 1% that were self-aware enough to realize the corruption and immorality of the Republic. To sum this video up, although clones did get free time in the Clone Wars, it wasn't constructive and was mainly used to subdue any lingering doubts of their existence and purpose through alcohol and women.